Traveling alone for a long time, like I have, is one of the most life-changing, exciting, most eye-opening experiences you could possibly have in your whole entire life. But what does it really mean to travel hours, days, weeks, even months, just by yourself in foreign countries that you don't know anybody, and you don't know the language? Well, lucky for you, because I know what it feels like to be alone traveling. And that's what this video is about. It's about being alone and being just simply lonely. At the beginning of my trip, it was so exciting to be alone in a new country and getting to see stuff. It was so exhilarating. The freedom to do whatever you want, go wherever you please, see whatever you want to see, with no compromises, no itinerary, no nothing. I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is everything that I dreamt for. This is everything that I wanted. I realized how much my life was just dictated by my routine of my life, right? I wake up, I go to work, I eat lunch, I go back to work, I then get off of work, I go to the grocery store, I go do this, I don't do that, I go to the gym, whatever. But when you're traveling, you have no routine. You wake up when you want, you see what you want, and you have fun. But that joy quickly fades, and it fades quick after a couple weeks when you're bouncing from city to city, and you realize that you have no one to share it with. You have no one to share this newfound freedom that you have of exploring the world and seeing all these new sights and sounds without anybody. Like when I first started out traveling in Mexico, I was excited to be by myself, going through the Mexican streets, eating all these great tasting foods. But slowly, as I've been traveling south, it's just been kind of boring. And I don't mean where the places that I'm going to are boring. It's just that when you go to a place by yourself, I see this amazing sunset, and I look around me and no one else is there. That's loneliness, guys. That's loneliness. At first, I didn't understand why I felt so lonely, because I was surrounded by everybody, right? I sleep in hostels. I sleep in rooms full of 12, 13, 15, 20 people sometimes. And when I go out, I'm always surrounded by people. We're having a great time, or laughing, joking. But that's just not enough. It's just not enough time to really connect with someone that you like, right? Because if I'm gonna be in this town for only 3 days and you're gonna be in this town for 3 weeks, we're only gonna get these 3 days together, and then I'm gonna leave, and then you have to stay, or vice versa. And I realized you can make the best of those 3 days, the best of that time that you have together. But once you leave, you leave. Odds are I'll probably never see those people again. I hope I do, but I never will. And then I'm even more lonely, because I'm like, I just had the best couple of days I've had in a weeks. But now I'm lonely again. I realize how important human connections are, especially when you are just by yourself. And I never really thought about that when I was back home, right? You go to work, you have your friends, you go get some drinks, you go to parties, blah, 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 blah. But when you're removed from that for so long, you're like, I miss my friends. I thought weekly phone calls with my family and friends every Sunday was enough to give me that connection. But it just isn't. Not being in a physical space with the people that you love and people that you know is just not enough. Now, is this lonely enough for me to turn around, tuck my tail in between my legs, and run back home? Heavens no. Heavens no. I'm having the greatest time of my life. 2024 was amazing. I can't even wait till what 2025 is gonna bring me. But I do feel it. And the more that I travel south, more countries, more experiences, I feel it more. What I think I feel is me growing as a person, me growing as a man, me growing as a traveler. I am completely 100% different than I was when I started this trip back in Mexico. And 8-9 months later, I'm different. I'm different in the way that I think, I'm different in the way that I speak, and I'm different in the way that I actually act. And I go back to my footage all the time of my time in other countries. And especially when I first started, I'm like, I was so scared to walk on that street by myself. And now I just walk willy-nilly with a camera in my hand, headphones in my ear, and just enjoying life. I am different in the way that I interact with other travelers. I am learning more as I go about other countries, especially not even countries that I visit, but other countries around the world due to other travelers. And I ask different kind of questions, and not the basic, oh, where are you from? What's it like in your city? I'm getting more knowledge of geopolitics and just how every other country affects another country. And I'm growing. I actually like growing, and I love growing. I love growing into something that I don't know just yet. But I think the cost of loneliness is worth it. I truly do think that being lonely is just a part of the journey, and it makes me be comfortable with being by myself. And I like that. I like being comfortable with myself. Traveling for a long time is really a mix of feelings, right? But that's okay. It's the contrast that I live for. It's the contrast of being surrounded by people while also being lonely, but also being together with people and not being lonely. It's seeing this side one day and seeing that the next. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't trade my life for billionaires because I love it. And I love every single ounce of emotions that I go through every single day. Well, that's all I have for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed my rant of just my feelings, of just me talking about my feelings. Happy travels.